if I'm being honest, I really don't know anything. That's pretty much the only thing I know for sure. But I don't think it really takes that much effort to look around and see we're basically living in a cartoon, like The Matrix, or like the holodeck on Star Trek. We're living in a world of our own creation that appears to spring out of the absolute, the creative force, consciousness, or mind, or whatever you want to call it. Bottom line, it's a pretty fantastic illusion. And it's amazing that we're here doing this. And almost 95% of the living population is in denial of what's actually happening. And that's the funniest part. Really, if any of the things I've come to understand are remotely close to why things are the way we are, it seems to me that we are living in a state of belief that we are separate from everything. And I mean, because this appears to be happening, I really think that we made this choice to have this experience in this precise way. This illusion of I'm me and you're you, and that's a rock and there's a bird. It's a choice that we made before we came into this experience. And the important thing to look at is that choice exists, that it's literally being created by the will and the choice. And when we look around, if we're not seeing the beauty, if we're missing the powerful truth of what's happening or what we're capable of creating and manifesting, there's no one to look to but us for the change. And I mean, I've had the experience of, I mean, it's really hard to put into words, but I'll try. I've been on the cusp of ascension to the degree I actually, this is gonna sound crazy, but that's okay. I remember a time I was actually putting rocks in my pocket to stay on the ground. I was manifesting instantly live, living beings out of the apparent thin air. You'd have to be there to believe it, but I made a conscious decision, a choice. I think that's when I really saw clearly through the illusion. The game that we're playing, The Matrix. And I saw how powerful I was, and it scared the fuck out of me. And I made a conscious decision, literally, of choice, to stay on the planet. To, well, for one thing, I did still have a foot in reality, and I didn't want my children to wonder what happened to their mom. But, you know, that's a small piece of the grand scope of what I was shown, was that, you know, you can ascend from the planet. You can reclaim all your power. But once you're out of the collective conscience, you can't help anyone who's still stuck here. So I made that conscious decision to literally come back into the collective conscience reality illusion. I keep calling it the Matrix because it's so much like that. It's like, and here's the thing, is like, I don't even really remember how I got there or how to get back. I remember I wasn't eating a lot at all. I wasn't sleeping much at all. And I just was so tapped into the higher self. It was like I was in the constant state of meditation that brings you back to the awareness of where the consciousness comes from. And I'm not saying I knew everything. In fact, even getting to that point made me realize that was just a very low level, you know, rung on the ladder of what we're even capable of reaching into and understanding. But even from there, I just was like, it almost was a time for me to just reflect on the purpose of being in a body with all of its constraints, its constrictions, its pain, its illusions and delusions. And I mean, it's literally like going into a box and thinking there's nothing outside the box. It's like once you're in the body, in the collective conscience, you're in this box, you forget that there's something outside of the box. But there's obviously so much more. I don't know, it seems like every time I try to explain to people what I know or understand, or, you know, advice on how you can achieve higher level understanding, I get projected onto this idea of inferiority, but they project it onto me like I think, oh, I'm so enlightened. No, I've never thought that. I don't think I'm anywhere close to enlightenment, but I do feel like I'm walking around in a world full of zombies, people who are making a choice at a level of consciousness that they don't realize. They're making a choice to be unaware. And becoming aware, I believe, is the first step. And achieving awareness, well, it starts, I think, just by asking that one question. Why am I here? So why are you here? I don't know what I'm doing here. That's the first problem. The second problem is I don't understand how there can be so many people in this world who aren't wondering what they're doing here. Just seems like, to me it seems like everyone who makes some kind of media savvy career or success out of themselves, or whatever you want to call it, from any kind of, any kind of discipline, from journalism to acting to being a musician to being a politician to being a medical professional, anything, anyone who has any kind of so-called success, which I just call a glamorized version, what it looks like on TV, they're all, there's not a single one of them who isn't keeping a part of themselves completely hidden. And to me, I don't want to live like that. I just don't get it, Yeah, the media eats up these stories about these young starlets who reach fame and success and they should be happy and have everything, but they're actually, ending up in drug rehabilitation centers and getting DUIs and getting in fights at bars or whatever. They have terrible marriages or, et cetera, et cetera. The media eats it alive. So anyone who puts their face out there, they don't want to show that there's the other side of humanity that everyone wants to pretend isn't there. It's, just the anguish that comes with living in a world that's so insane. That's the only word for it. Our priorities are backwards. The things we're doing to the planet are ridiculous. The things we do to animals are criminal. The things we do to our own home, our planet, the place where we live, we shit on it like it's a litter box and there's going to be another one cleaned up and ready for us tomorrow. We're living in the full-on ego. I mean, it's just so almost impossible to put into words. It's like, what would we be if we weren't so confused, if we knew what our purpose was? What would we be if we didn't have this ego inside of our head tricking us about what's important and what's real? What's real is, it's almost impossible to put into words. We're having this experience of being in a little meat suit. I call it, the car that we're driving. We're not this body. We're the thing that's operating the body. But with the body comes so many sensations and experiences, and, we try to downplay the ones that we don't like. We put labels on things. Anger is bad, sadness is bad, pain is bad. But really, these are, the powerful experiences of being in a body. Why isn't it just okay to cry? Because it hurts. The emotions that we're experiencing, we press them down. They get stuck in our tissues. We become filled with, this rage that we're trying to cover up all the time. We're drinking, we're smoking, we're using medications, we're eating ourselves into comas. I mean, what are we doing here? This is not like, I don't know. I have this so many experiences in this lifetime that have just shown me how fake everyone is being. And to me, it's just so sad. It's so I mean, I'd rather just sit there and have the sadness and be in the sadness than pretend I'm not sad. That's more sad to me, that people can just, put on this face like, oh yeah, I am going to my job that I hate so I can pay my bills that I don't even care about. I wish I was on an island somewhere sipping a pina colada, but I can't do that because I'm in this box that I've painted myself into. And I'm gonna have to wait until such a time when there's space for me to have a 2-week vacation from this life I've created that I don't even like. And then what do? Then we have children. We teach them everything that we already know is so messed up. No, play nice. What if we all were just like allowing our emotions to happen? What if we were just living every moment, and that experience of being in pain is maybe the experience you're supposed to be having, so you don't have to cover it up and press it down and pretend like it's not there and put on a brave face, because nobody wants to be around someone who's depressed or mopey. I just think if we could be ourselves, we'd come closer to understanding ourselves. Why we're living in such insanity.